This is a do-it-yourself simplified way to turn your garage into a mini haunted house and still be able to lower and raise your garage door. So what these are just painter's drop cloths. They're pretty heavy material. What I use to hang them with are these little clips right here. They're tarp clips. Got these at Home Depot. So is the little blue heavy duty ties. Now I've got a magnet on the end of this one which attaches to the door. So when I want to let the door down, I just unhook that magnet and let this sheet drop down. You have to attach to the back side of the railing, of course, where you can have your rollers free. You can kind of see how I've done that, maybe. I just use red spray paint to spray the enter on there. I divided it up into just 2 rooms, basically. Now I found a sheet of black visqueen which covers the whole back wall, and even my workbench, which worked perfectly. So I've got a few little skeletons in here and a witch, bony cat. Actually, I'm in a band, so I've got this ultraviolet cannon which really glows everything. I'll show you later in the video. All I did was just staple this to it. Actually, there's pegboards and tools all behind there and everything. I dropped it all the way to the bottom because I didn't want anybody stepping on a tool that might have dropped or something like that. Now, on the drop cloths, what I did on it, I deliberately made them where they didn't touch the floor. They actually stood up a little bit. And the reason I did that like that is because I'm afraid if some little boy or a girl gets scared, they might fall over or run up against one of these curtains. And if they stepped on the bottom, it would yank the whole thing down. So I put them up so they wouldn't do that. Now, I did have to run, I found a peg, or I found a stud. And I used 3/16 cable and an eye bolt and one of those, I don't even know what you call that thing, little tensioner thing where you can get the cable tight. So I put a sheet of, well, actually it's a bathroom shower curtain, just a frosted type, because I've got a projector that I'm going to mount. It's a little small projector, I'll show you. It's going to mount up there by that. I've also got, again, some of that stuff you can even hang like the ghosts and stuff with those tarp hooks too. And there again, there's another cable hooked up there. It runs just underneath the garage rollers, so it doesn't interfere with that or the motor. Now I put another tarp here. This back one is a, I believe it's a 9 foot by 12 foot tarp that went over almost to the edge where somebody could, where you walk around that side and come into this entranceway. I made a little area just in case. And then I've also attached, this is a short one that goes out and attaches to the top. It's a 6 by 9, I believe is what it was. And then again, I use these little ties, or these little tarp clips to hold it together and kind of bury it all off from everything. Now I do have a garage door, and I use a long enough bolt. This is actually an 800 watt strobe below the rollers, which I'm supposed to go across to that. I use that sometimes, but so I've run 2 cables across the length of the garage. Now that I've loosened that one from the magnet, The magnets I also got at Home Depot too. So is the drop cloths and the tarp clips. Not trying to throw Home Depot anything, but that's just happened to be where I got them out here at the home. But now since I've let that down, actually the door is all clear, and actually I can let it down. I said actually twice, didn't I? You can let it down and use your garage to keep it safe and your stuff in there. Also, the curtain that is held by the magnet at the end of the door, you can also, I've got it, I first had it where it would run straight out, but I noticed that you could see inside some of the stuff. So what I'm gonna do, instead of running it out straight, I'm gonna bring it over here to the side where they won't be able to see it as easy. Here's kind of a backside view of it all. You can kind of get an idea from that too. And what's neat is these painter drop cloths. Like I said, they're kind of a canvas-like. They're off-white, but they glow under the black light, so it's pretty cool. Most of the stuff I've either bought at like one of the Halloween stores, or some even at like Walmart, Kmart, stuff like that. I do have a down here underneath this ghost. It's a fog machine, but it's also got a LED lights that shine up through the fog, and the fog shoots straight up. And of course, this is not a cheap prop. Again, this is something we use in our band. Kind of gives it a pyrotech sort of look, but you know, any little small fog machine just, you know, it adds a great effect, especially when you blend it with black lights or strobe lights. One other note about the fog machine, even if you buy a little $30 one, don't buy the green bottle fog. Either buy, there's one called Bog Fog, that's really good, and there's another one called Code 6, that's really good. It won't stink as bad, puts out a lot thicker fog, and it doesn't burn your eyes or, like I said, stink like the green bottle will do. One other thing I did to make it a little easier turning everything on and off is I bought this little remote control thing. So you plug whatever you want to control into them, and you got this little handheld deal. It's got like 5 different buttons. You can program it for each different one, and you add on to them or something. I forget who makes it. Doesn't say. I guess the brand name is Remote Control. Stanley makes some good ones, but you can find them all over the place. I stuck this out in my yard. I had this made and just, you know, kind of advertise it so kiddies will know. It wasn't expensive, I think like 24 bucks. One other thing I forgot, of course visual effects are great, but you also need to have the sound effects to match. So what I've done, I had a camper and I took my sound bar and mounted up. I've got a storage rack above my garage you could put somewhere else, but I've got that set up for sound. It's got wireless speakers in the rear. I got the little sub under there, and there's also 2 satellite speakers that are mounted underneath that curtain. I've also, for my projection, I'm using this little maybe you can hear me over all the sound effects. I've got this little cube thing, I think it's called RF6, I say. It's got these legs you can wrap around stuff for your projection. It's got a port for, let's see, charge. It's also got a micro SD and NHL. Let me turn this on. I also got an earphone plug. That's what I'm going to plug that stereo or home theater thing into it. Okay, power. You gotta hold the power on to hear the fan kick on. This thing is really bright. It only shows that it's 50 lumens, but this thing ordered 100 lumens or 1,000 lumens, and this is brighter than that. So, okay, RF6 is what it says. It comes with a little bitty remote control, so I'm gonna jump over to movie. You gotta aim it at the back or it won't work. Okay, now you can just click on each file that you want to show. Go back, missed that one. And then just hit the play button here. Oh, forgot to aim it at the back. Loading. Now these files are from Atmos Effects. It's ATMOS FX. They can sell it to you in a DVD. I prefer to download it because when you download them, you can of course go ahead and create a disc, you know, with that too. But they've got different kind of scenes. You can have wall scenes, you can have doorway scenes, almost a true holographic effect, window scenes, and or just even show it on your TV. So I'll show you how this works. It's going to be up on my window in my garage. Okay, you've seen how I made it and everything. Let's start this spook house up and see what it looks like in full time. Alright, well let's take a walk through and see what we've got. Curtain is up there. Can you see the intercom? And we're out. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it helps.